This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi there.
Yay. Full house. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I know it was on, it was off, it was on. So here we are. I had sent out the agenda and so forth at the end of last week. So let me just call the meeting to order at 6:03. And I'm going to ask to modify the agenda slightly. Can we just table the minutes for our November 2nd meeting till our next meeting to approve them?
Yeah.
Okay. Because my concern is how long we need to be brought up to speed here. Because, you know, you go slowly and then all of a sudden everything is steamrolling ahead. So here we are trying to get the drafts ready for the select board this Thursday, November 10th, to review what we're proposing as the drafts that will go into the warrant for the town meeting now December 13th. So just to quickly review some things before we get to the one at hand, and I'll go through this with you, because we did agree on language for 2, and I'll get them for you. Let me just call them up. No, that's not the one.
Wait.
I can't read. Everything has the same. Nope. Okay, here's one. All right. Can everyone see this?
Not
No,
yet. No,
You can't.
no, not sharing it.
Okay, let me go back. Okay, let me go back.
That's my cat. Very annoyed at me, as usual.
as cats are likely to be.
Now I'm stuck here. Okay. Let me go back to Zoom. Here we are. Okay, share screen.
Yeah, then hit your document and then hit share again.
Yeah. And I don't have a share. I don't see a share.
It's in the bottom of where all your documents are. Usually there, you see it.
Yeah, it's for some reason it's not here.
Is the menu bar at the
But
bottom?
maybe no, it's not at the top either. Could you just hold 1 second?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll get some technical assistance. Hold on, please.
Call Teddy. Call the cat. Go ahead.
I don't see the place. I have the documents open, but I don't see a place to share them.
So we're back to, let me see.
Okay. This is the document. If you want to go back to Zoom, it's there.
Okay.
Okay, there's Zoom. Okay,
It's your technical support person here.
I did that.
Okay, so you want to share screen.
Yeah,
And which one do you want to share?
this one.
We're out of practice.
Okay, yes.
Can you see it
There we go.
okay?
Yep, you can see it now.
The town-owned vehicles one?
Oh, yeah.
Town-owned vehicles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This should just be a quick one. We had already agreed on this. There was, if you look at the last line, we're talking about the fact that all departments must, if they're town-owned vehicles, they must be marked. And my understanding is there may be a couple, not many, town-owned vehicles that are unmarked. So we're now requiring that all be marked. The issue comes in the last sentence, that once this is approved by the Attorney General, all town-owned vehicles shall be brought into compliance within 45 days of this bylaw becoming effective. Now, Ed spoke to the attorney, and then me, and I think he talked to Chris as well. And I think his suggestion is a good one, because we did do some research with the departments, and it would cost about $1,500, as much as $1,500 a vehicle, to have, the insignia put on, the department name and all of that on both sides of the vehicle. So since we're in the middle of a fiscal year, it might be more advisable for us to put a deadline sometime after the beginning of the next fiscal year, when they have time to put money into their budget to cover that expense. So the change that Ed recommended, and I agree with, and let's see what you think, that all town vehicles shall be brought into compliance by either August 30th or September 30th, August 31st or September 30th of 2023. That's, 2 to 3 months after the start of our next fiscal year. That way they could plan to put the money in the budget. So instead of reading in compliance within 45 days, in compliance by, and I'm going to recommend September 30th.
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because otherwise it would be 45 days of when this bylaw became effective, which would be before they had it in their budget. So,
Right. And
Yeah.
that became the issue.
right. So you're going to eliminate within 45 days, right?
Yes, I'm going to put in by September 30th. It becomes
Right.
effective September 30th, 2023.
that sounds good.
Okay,
So you're taking out within 45 days of the bylaw becoming effective. Yep.
right. Okay.
Yep.
Yep,
So that,
Agreed.
sounds good to me.
that,
Yep.
that's an easy one.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
let's go back and look at, I will look at these in some kind of order. I want to do the easy ones first. I'm going to save the dog one, because that's going to be probably the one that we have not gone over. Let me see this. I wish I could see what it is. Are you seeing my screen? I don't know
No.
why my cursor, no.
Okay.
Come in.
now-
That's the one I didn't want. Okay, so I'll go back. Now I know where that is. Sorry about this.
Minimize it. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Let's look at. Okay, I don't know why it's so slow. Okay, then here we go. This is another one, just going back, and Chris, please chime in. If you remember, this bylaw was passed at the last annual town meeting, and it was approved by the Attorney General sometime in September, so it is in effect. The Attorney General wrote some comments, which I've shared with all of you, cautioning us to seek some legal, some legal counsel regarding some of the language that we use. Not that it wouldn't be, not make it effective, that they wouldn't approve it, but that needed clarification. So there were two sections in the article on soliciting and canvassing that the attorney gave us additional guidance, and Chris and I have worked, Chris worked on making the change to correspond to the recommendations of the attorney. So Chris, if you want to go through this, just the changes?
Sure. Okay. So there's just, this is just an amendment to two sections of the bylaw. So section 5 had in two places that there would be an application fee for the permit. And so this is a brand new thing that we put in there, that people have to actually apply and have pay an application fee to the police department, or turn in their application to the police department. And it would be a fee to be paid by the canvassing company, whoever that is, Trinity Solar or whomever it may be, as well as then the individual person that's going to go around, person or persons that's going to go around and canvass. So we spent time and talked about it with the police chief at the last meeting. And I think what we want to do here is in this section 5, in these two places, is we want to eliminate this periodically updated by town meeting. Because I think there is, well, I know there is a schedule of fees for the select board that periodically the select board is supposed to review. And I actually have it on the agenda for the coming meeting on Thursday, because the fees have not been reviewed since 2015, I think. So again, these are not fines. These are just fees to do something. And so because this is a new bylaw, we would actually have to put the amendment, sorry, we'd have to put the fees on this separate form that the select board basically manages. So by trying to make it simple and not have to come back to town meeting each time, I'm recommending that we get rid of periodically updated by town meeting in A and C, if you want to scroll down, Francine. So it's two places. So just each application shall be accompanied by a fee in an amount determined by the schedule of fees established, and just leave it like that. Talking to Ian, the fee that he wants is $50 for the entity, the company, and $25 for each person that's going to be canvassing. So that is what would show up on this separate document, which is the schedule of fees. Okay.
Can I ask, why are we charging individuals a fee to canvass?
Because they are working on part of the company, and the company employs, we don't know who they are, however many people they want to employ. So they're the ones that are actually walking around the neighborhood, whereas the company could be in Idaho for all we know.
So the canvassing, does that include political canvassing?
No.
No, I think we left that.
There are exemptions, religious
Yeah.
groups, political groups, youth nonprofit groups.
Yeah.
Those things are exempt from this
Okay.
fee, but we do
Yeah.
want to know who's in town, and this fee is the money from the fee is going to be used to produce the actual permit, with it's going to have their name and their photograph on it that they're going to wear when they go from house to house, so that people know that they've been to the police, and that the person whose picture's on that badge is the person who's showing up at their door.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That they're basically legit. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And then the second part of the bylaw was section 13, and this is what the Attorney General gave us some advice on, and we went back to our legal counsel on this. And so the problem here is we had said something about may result in a fine of up to $300. So what is being suggested is we don't leave it so arbitrary like that. But talking to the police chief, we came up with the substitute language, which would be may result in a fine as follows: first offense, $100, second offense, $200, third and any subsequent events, $300. And so this is what's being recommended as a substitution. And let's see.
Do we want
Just farther.
may result or will result?
I'm sorry.
It says may result in a fine. Do we want to say may, or do we want to say will? Do we want to leave that flexible?
I think it's okay as may. I mean, they didn't ask us to change that part. They wanted just more specificity. So
Okay.
it may allow the chief to have a discretion, if it's not, I don't know, I guess it depends on how egregious things are, but it allows him a little bit of flexibility maybe.
Okay.
to keep it as may. And then they wanted provided rather than provides in that next sentence. Further
change.
provided that each house, business, property, mailbox, or vehicle in violation, shall be a separate violation. So, and then we somehow had forgotten the article for the reference where all the non-criminal disposition of violations bylaws fits, and that's actually Article 42 of our current bylaws. So that is a list of all the fees and, sorry, of all, not the fees, of all the penalties and fines for various infractions. So rather than putting in too much about specific fines, we're also referring them back to this non-criminal disposition bylaw, which we have to also update. It won't be done for this meeting, but that's one of the ones that Francine has asked the town departments to look at and be sure their fines are still what they
Right.
want them to be. So that'll probably be at a next like an annual town meeting on that one.
Right. And we haven't heard back from all the departments. That's why we're not
Mhm.
producing it at this time.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. So basically it's just that. It's just trying to be specific and saying a fee, a fine for those three, for those occurrences rather than up to. And then the language at the beginning was just to take out the fact that the permit fee had to be approved by town meeting each time. So these would be our recommendations to go to select board, see what they have to say about it. And then hopefully legal counsel would be happy with it since these are part of what they suggested in the first place.
okay.
Okay. All right. So that brings us up to speed on the soliciting one. And this Ed already has, and we're going to be looking at it. The select board will be looking at it on Thursday.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's look at no, it's that one. Okay. Here's another one that Chris worked on. Here. You don't see it, do you?
No,
No. Okay. Let me go down. Okay, we're back, but I need to. Well, let's understand why I'm losing the icon on the bottom to share.
You must have one screen on top of another.
Yeah,
It's hiding
so
it.
I'm gonna, yeah. So share. All right. I did that one.
Just close that and then you won't have it
Yeah,
again.
I go start again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should have had these labeled so that I would see. Why do I keep ending up back here?
Just close it up somewhere up at the top of it. Just close the document up so it's off your
Okay.
screen.
All right, let me,
Maybe.
it doesn't matter to me if we do it in order. So whatever one pops up, we can address.
yeah. All right, let's take a look at this one. You see this?
No.
Nope.
Go back to share. No, that's not the curb cuts.
Which one are you trying to get, Francis?
I'm trying to get,
The dumping one?
yeah,
Littering?
yeah.
So you have to have it open on your screen, do you? Yeah. No.
I have two.
It's version 3.
Yeah, but none of them are labeled here, and that's my problem.
Well, just open one and we'll try it.
I keep coming back to the dogs.
Well, let's just do the dogs.
Let's do the dogs while we got it.
All right, let me go back. I'm sorry.
Now the dog's left.
I mean, the littering dumping one, select board will see it for the first time. So, that'll be a challenge to see whether KP Law can actually review that one in time. But
Okay, now you can all see me on the side, right?
yeah, we can see you.
Okay. Again,
So scroll down to the bottom of your screen there somewhere. Because all we're seeing is your main, Microsoft whatever screen.
yeah,
So somewhere at the very bottom, you must have a document open, hopefully.
I do.
Okay.
But we've done this one.
Okay, so hit the share button first,
Yep.
then go to whatever document. And then hit share again.
Open the document, right?
Something is.
Okay.
All right, let me see.
Now we're in your email.
Here,
Okay,
Okay.
well,
affordable
we don't-
housing.
this one
Okay.
we've already dealt with though too, right?
Yes, this is, but everyone, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed
Okay,
that we made one minor change to the document that was sent to us, which we had a discussion with the representative from the Affordable Housing Trust speak with us. And this was, we put a limit on the amount that they could use, that they could borrow based on the trust assets. And that's number 6. You can see that?
yep,
Okay. There was no limit on their borrowing. And obviously the caution was that they shouldn't be able to borrow against 100% of any assets, but only up to 80%. And so that was a caution that the attorneys gave us that other towns have used. So we've inserted it in our version that the select board will see. We shared it went back to the Affordable Housing Trust group, shared it with them, and they were fine with that one change and only one change to what they proposed.
Okay.
Okay.
And so 80% is a standard number?
According to the attorneys,
Yep,
right?
right.
Okay. Because we did put her on a conference call. No, she sent her comments, and then we did have a discussion on a conference call with the rep from the Housing Authority.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's really the only change that we made to their document. All right. Let me go back to share screen. Okay. Here's another one that we talked about at our last meeting, made some changes. And again, Chris executed these changes, so I'm going to let her walk through that.
All right. So we have on the books right now two separate bylaws. One is called littering and one is called matter on public ways or places. What we're really recommending is to incorporate the two. The current matter on public ways or places is what's in red right there. And it was pretty limited. So we've expanded that, as well as moved down below here. What you see is section 1, littering is not permitted on public highways.
Mhm.
Only section 1, that is the sum total of our current littering bylaw,
Okay.
one paragraph. So what we did was try to combine the two of them into one bylaw entitled littering and dumping materials on public ways or places. And this is after we've talked to the highway superintendent. He came to a couple of our last meetings with some suggestions. And so we're beginning with the simple part of littering as section 1, because it was pretty short and sweet, including that the town would try to recoup costs for cleanup of the violation as well. So not just a littering cost, a fine, but also to recoup the cost for cleaning up any of the littering or dumping. And then we went into section 2 and 3 are similar to what was the beginning, or well, what was the red part up above, but we've just expanded the language of it, talking about leaves and grass clippings that might be put in the road, etc. People are supposed to be, not leaving them in the road because they can be dangerous, especially to motorcycles and others. So this basically lays out in more detail both littering and dumping materials. So littering begins, then it goes into pretty much any kind of debris that present safety hazards, and then the section 3 is pretty much the language from the current bylaw itself that's there. We did say that it wouldn't be unlawful for people to have suitable de-icing material on public sidewalks, because that we had asked that, people have to take care of cleaning any of the sidewalks that are near them during the wintertime. So any suitable de-icing material does not constitute putting any banned substance on a public way.
Okay.
What we talked about with Randall was down on 4, which is being specific that a dog owner is responsible. If you could scroll down, Francine. Dog owner is specific for removing any fecal material deposited by their dog on any kind of public areas. And especially this is reinforced by something Randall has to abide by with the Connecticut River Stormwater Committee. And so that is kind of the I guess, regulation and so forth behind this. Then adding a couple of more things about people that have oftentimes just put sofas and stoves and whatever on the side of the road, and they sit there forever. So discarding them along in your own property, that's one thing, on your front lawn because you're trying to get rid of them, but going and dumping like up where you are, Taylor, up at the end of, Crooked Ridge and Delisle and up in there, in terms of any wooded areas, that's a violation, and if found should be subject to fine. And we did say that items left curbside for the purposes of free taking, donation, or garbage collection shall not remain for more than 7 days.
Right. Those are good. I'm
then-
glad to see that appliances and construction materials included.
Yeah, and then decided rather than to have violations mentioned all the way through it, we just put a separate thing down at 7 that violators are subject to the town, to fines per the town bylaws. And again, that'll be in that section 42, the non-criminal disposition
Right.
that we'll have to do next round. And also may incur possible criminal charges. Some of these may also have a criminal charge attached to them. So we
Okay.
at least have warned people to that effect.
All
So
right.
this is one that select board hasn't seen. So this will be their first time seeing it on Thursday.
They're fine subject to town bylaws, but only if we can figure out who to fine, right? Obviously.
Right, yeah, violators are subject to fines,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, I mean,
think
if,
it's written in there, but just noting it.
yeah, no, it's true. I guess in these days, well, I don't know how much in our public areas, like down at the park or anything, we probably don't have any cameras or anything like that, but I think in a lot of places, people would figure out who the violators might be, but
Yeah.
I think it would be a case where a camera might be put out if all of a sudden it was found that there was significant repetitive dumping in a certain area.
Yeah.
And the highway superintendent has said that they have temporarily installed cameras for the intent of kind of catching repeat offenders. They haven't been successful yet, but that's something that they have utilized, and I guess will in the future if it gets out of hand.
Yeah,
You did say temporary, right? The cameras are
Yeah.
temporary.
I think, and I don't think he told us even where they're installed, Francine, did he?
No, they're not. They're temporary. They had a problem on one road in particular.
Mhm.
Tried because they had a repeat offender dumping, beer cans and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So they
They've been up here
temporarily
on
put a
Crooked
camera in, but it didn't catch anyone.
I see, okay.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Crooked Ledge is a place where people dump stuff pretty regularly,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would imagine.
but I wouldn't want a permanent camera there.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't talked about anything permanent, but in an attempt to save them the work of cleaning up and all the debris that's there that shouldn't be there, that should be recycled anyway for the most part.
Yep.
Okay. My only concern with section 4, where I think we may get pushback, and as a dog owner, it's not that I don't do this, okay? But this also applies, removing fecal material also applies to private property, private residential property, it says right here. So
So if you're walking in front of somebody else's house and your dog leaves a deposit.
yes, in front of even I think your own house. Because we're really looking at for the contamination based on what the stormwater committee says.
Okay.
It's not for any other. I mean, first of all, it's not that sanitary, but secondly, I mean, that's the primary concern here. So I'm assuming that people will say, well, you can't tell me what I can do with my own property.
Right.
And there isn't, no one's going to go around and inspect. I'm not going to say that publicly,
Yeah.
but it is to make people aware that it does get into, the water sources, and that's a concern.
Yeah, I think you are. If it's interpreted that it's private residential property and it's your own property, that's one thing, and I can see people objecting. But if it's somebody else's property, which is the way I read it, then how can anybody object to being told they have to clean up somebody else's property if their dog leaves a deposit?
Right. Is there a way to stick another word in there somewhere to distinguish that a little bit? Public properties and other private residential.
Residential property owned by persons other than the owner of the dog. That's very cumbersome, but
It's a little bit lengthy.
Yeah.
Followed by their dog in public areas and on neighboring residential property. Take out the word private.
yeah. That might do it.
Remove private
That's a thought. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if neighboring's the right word, but because you could be walking a mile away from your.
No, so then you'll have a big neighborhood.
Yeah, and
And
how do you say, other residential, I know what he was saying, residential properties owned by others. How else can you say that?
I think Chris's suggestion of neighboring instead of private might
Okay,
do it,
okay, so neighboring residential properties,
right?
okay,
we could try that, and we'll probably get some pushback from the legal anyway. But
yeah, okay. Because the point that's raised, yeah, you're not in your neighborhood, but it's not your property, it's someone else's property.
Right.
yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Well, this is new. We decided not to include this in the dog bylaw, but to include it in the littering and literally, yes, where it's more appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may be in the it may be in the dog one too. We don't know what they suggested. So
When, yeah,
right now it's not. We didn't put it there, but I think this. So this is one, Taylor, just for your information. This is one that we had worked on like pre-COVID, and then it kind of sat and sat and sat. So we kind of revived it to
Okay.
get it out there.
Very good.
So we'll see if it gets through in time. If it gets through legal review in time for December, I'm not positive, but it'll be in the docket if nothing else.
okay. So
Okay.
we'll look at it. So I will change private to neighboring. And that's the only change to this one, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
I think so.
Then we'll go on the hunt for the next one. Bear with me, please.
It should be the dogs, no?
Yeah, should be, yes. Nope.
Nope.
Okay, that's not it. I'm sorry.
Yay.
Got it?
Yeah, looks like it's there.
Can see it.
Okay, yeah. Everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay.
You do or you don't?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right.
And so this is another one that we've combined a couple of bylaws together. So I think the legal counselor is saying it's kind of all over the place. That was her comment in the text, right?
Mhm. Yes,
But oh well, we'll see if we can understand her main comments here.
okay, and so her changes, her recommendations are what's in red.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So nothing off leash. That didn't change.
No. And then not being on someone else's property without their permission.
Right. And then D is right there. Should make provisions for the proper disposal of animal waste. So
Yes.
we did
okay,
put it in both places,
Okay.
which I think is fine.
Yeah,
Now,
Go ahead, Virginia.
no,
Okay. So she's adding in section 2, just C for the chapter.
mhm.
Then what is she saying? Over 6 months.
Must
Must
obtain-
obtain on an annual basis. Okay, so
Okay. It's just a
Thing
different
major.
way of saying what
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
said.
yeah,
Okay,
real
And
problem there.
yes.
Yeah.
And then we go down to,
Mhm.
again, the citation, putting in a chapter.
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
Okay. Yep. And shut up.
okay, so if we look,
Answer the phone. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was
So-
telling my cat to answer the phone.
Oh, I see.
You have them well trained if they can do that.
No,
Now,
no.
Chris, if you had a dog, it would have answered.
Yeah, there you go. Oh dear. Okay, so we're on DE license.
Yeah.
Rabies, yeah, and that's already true. They got the rabies. So then F, this is a new one. Do not apply to any dog housed in a research institution.
Yeah.
Why would we have that?
License a dog.
I don't know. We don't have any such institutions in our town, but in
This
the
is an
event that
odd
we
thing to
do,
put in then.
that they don't have to be housed or they don't have to be licensed. Interesting.
And they don't have to have a rabies shot either.
Right. No licensing and no rabies shot. That's kind of weird.
Hmm. Well, yeah, to be licensed, there have to be proof of
Right.
rabies. That's
No.
interesting.
No research institution either.
Right. I mean, I guess well, I'm sure it'll come up at select board. I mean, I would think it would.
Yeah.
What's the relevance or the importance of putting in F? I mean, given
Yeah.
it doesn't apply to our setting, why would we need to include it?
Yeah. Unless they, I'm just holding out that sometime in the future there might be.
Right. But that seems an odd.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It does.
Does.
Okay.
No, I can't. I don't know. It
I
seems
can't
really
think of
odd.
it. I can't think of an instance that would happen here, but
Yeah.
there's always that. We'll see what the reaction is. We can always take it out. It's
Yeah.
once we run it by, but we just
Yeah.
can't not
Or we may-
share what the
No.
lawyers have said with everyone
Right.
else.
Right. And we may ask Ed to go back after select board. We may ask him to go back and ask them to clarify why that one's important to have in here, because I would
Yes.
recommend taking it out if it's not important myself. But anyway, okay.
Okay.
So now what? G.
So G, any household of more than 4 dogs is required to obtain a kennel license. Any household of less than 4 dogs, 3 months old or older, who does not maintain a kennel may elect to secure a kennel license in lieu of licensing the dogs individually. And I'm familiar with this because we do have a kennel license, and the kennel license, whether you have 4 dogs or 10 dogs, is $50. If the town would make more money off of us by charging individual, $10 or $15 per dog. So if you had 10 dogs, you're looking at $150 versus $50. But for whatever reason, in Virginia, you worked on this more than anyone, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
This is what the state regulations say. So we're just, in compliance with their language.
So you're saying that a kennel license is cheaper than individual licenses, is what?
For a household of 4
For?
dogs or more, yes,
Huh.
it is. And I don't know why they would want to do that, but
Well,
I agree I agree with a household with more than 4 dogs, you should have a kennel license. But
maybe their purpose isn't to raise money for the town, but to make it feasible for people to get a license.
yeah,
Well,
it is.
we do have people who have dogs that they breed. And I don't know how many anymore. And then they would be covered by a kennel license.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how that works out.
Yeah, I don't know if the one person that I know of is still, raising puppies, but I think it would be easier. So anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right, let's
Fine.
move on to, so
Is
I'm
okay.
okay. You're okay
Yeah.
with this? Okay.
yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
H is a little bit of a quandary to me because I'm trying to see where these other citations appear in this document.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back. But yeah, I don't know what these are.
Hang on. Let me see if I can look up something while you're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because, we got this at what, 5:15?
Yeah, I don't think they're
Something.
referenced. They're not referenced earlier. So
No, they're not. So we have to find out what they are.
272, 76.
So H, what are the violations that they're referring to? All right. And then they're putting in, again, fees here. Any person who violates sections 1 and 2 as determined by the police department shall be liable for the following fines: first offense, $50, second, 100, third, 300, fourth, and subsequent offenses.
Okay. Yep.
That's-
Let me pull up. So chapter 272, section 77 is cruelty to animals.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on
So-
a second. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is whoever overloads, drives, or overworks, tortures, torments, deprives of sustenance, cruelly beats, mutilates, or kills an animal, blah, 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 blah. That's section 77.
Good.
Let me find, what's the next one? 80 and a half.
80 and a half.
That's odd.
Good Lord. All right.
Now,
Hang on.
do you think in any way we should put in parentheses behind, section 77 cruelty in parentheses so that people understand?
yeah. I think that would give the average person knowledge of what this is saying.
Right? Maybe square brackets.
Yeah. I think what's
Okay.
interesting is somewhere in our version, I think we talked about humane treatment of animals.
Well,
Yes.
we had two articles. One was care and
Oh, right.
treatment of domesticated animals,
Okay.
and then this. And I'm not sure, because I haven't had the time to go through this, if in fact,
Oh,
no, they didn't comment on the other one, or else they combined them and didn't
Yeah.
tell us.
okay. All right. So
Can
They
we
may
go
not.
through these sections?
yeah, let me find.
Do
So
you have
this,
access to the
yeah, so
document?
you want to, okay. So 80 and a half.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Lordy. This is devocalization of dogs or cats.
Oh,
Meaning
Yes.
remove their vocal cords?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procedure on the larynx or vocal cords.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What's the next one?
80A.
80A. Hold on. Papers. Section 80. Oh. This is cropping or cutting an ear off a dog.
Cropping or cutting.
Yeah. Yep. Whoever not being a veterinarian duly registered
Okay.
crops or cuts the whole or part of any ear of a dog shall be punished. So
Say
you've
the-
got to be a
say the-
veterinarian.
So by anyone other than a veterinarian.
Correct. That's what I'm reading that to be,
Yeah.
just very, very cursively here, but yeah, I think so. Next is
Section
94,
94.
95. Okay, let's see where we go with this one. Interesting to learn these things.
Yeah.
Radio 94. Oh, hang on. Okay, this one, it looks like it's owning, possessing, or training fighting animals.
Okay.
Establishing or promoting exhibition, loaning, selling, or exporting fighting animals, or possessing animals for breeding fighting animals. That's interesting because we had a case in East Hampton within the last 3 years about cockfights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
they were shut down by the
Right.
state. So
Fighting
roosters and things, yes.
that include owning, training, breeding, or
Promoting
or
exhibitions,
promoting exhibition.
loaning or selling or exporting fighting animals. Yeah. So
Okay,
that's-
so I'll have to make it short. It'll be owning, breeding, training, or promoting the exhibition of fighting animals.
yeah, and I don't know if we need to, I don't know if we want to put all that in the actual text. I don't know.
Okay,
I think you could kind of shorten that and go back to some way, and I don't have the words right now, about misuse of animals.
yeah,
But that doesn't cover the cropping, because there's several breeds that they do that regularly. I mean, the vet does it.
yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah. Yeah. Well, this is, right now for our own information, we'll have to see if we should actually
Okay,
specify in
In-
two
in
words
any-
in parentheses or
Right.
something. I
Right.
don't know.
okay, because
Um,
we could just leave 94 as parentheses, fighting animals. And
Right.
then they
Yeah.
would, they still have to go back and source it, but it's like reading a number doesn't tell anybody anything.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And 95 is aiding or being present at the exhibition of fighting animals.
Whoa.
So
So
whoever's
spectator.
present. Yep, whoever's present at any place, building, or tenement where preparations are being made for an exhibition of fighting of birds, dogs, or other animals with the intent to be present at such an exhibition or is present shall be punished by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by imprisonment in the state prison for not more than 5 years.
Wow.
Wow,
Hmm.
Yes,
they're
it is.
serious. Good.
Pretty serious on that one.
Yeah. Okay,
For current purposes, I think that just square brackets and then a couple words, like fighting animals would
Yeah.
suffice.
or spectator. Something,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We can work on that a little
Observer
bit.
or something, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So we'll have to think of a word there, but that's pretty heavy duty. That's good.
yeah.
Good.
So anybody who's found guilty of any of those shall be eligible or shall not be eligible. No, wait a minute. We got a double negative here. No person who has been found guilty. Okay, no person who has been found guilty shall be eligible. So yeah,
Right,
they're not eligible,
No person is
essentially.
right.
Yeah, but
Yes,
starting
shall
with
we
the
license a dog.
no
for a
person.
period.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Okay, but again, this doesn't reference then, this only references them, well, dogs are the only ones who are licensed, but it doesn't say anything about them owning other animals that they've used for fighting.
Right.
But hopefully that's in our next section. That they didn't do, but we have to remember that. Okay, so J was part of our original section 3A.
Wait, just go back. You didn't talk about the penalties there. This is something they've changed.
The first offense 50.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what they're putting in, right? So
Yes.
shall be
yes.
subject to fines as follows. Okay,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. That's what I said. That's pretty hefty.
that's fine.
That's what I
We're
was
gonna have to
reading.
remember to put all these fines on that non-criminal disposition thing here. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Schedule of fines and fees.
Right.
I suspect that these on the dogs are estate fees when they
Could
put
be.
them. I think there's
Mm.
no question on that. That's what they're
Yeah.
going to find.
Just scroll up a minute. What are sections 1 and 2? Remind me what they were. Dogs.
yeah,
Dogs and dog licenses.
Okay, dog licenses. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Okay.
All
Close
right.
enough. All
Okay.
right. Okay, we got that, I think. Yep. And
Okay.
then J, this is one. Okay, released until it's licensed by the town clerk. Yeah, paid before it's released. Okay, I think
Yes,
that's
all
true.
associated costs, yes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yep.
Then we define, go to kennels, we define it,
All right.
okay? And again, just the chapter, they didn't change anything there,
4 dogs.
right?
So C is something new, huh?
Yeah, that's theirs. A kennel licensee shall cause each dog kept in its kennel to wear while it is at large a collar or harness of leather or other suitable material to which a tag shall be securely attached. The tag shall have inscribed upon it the number of the kennel license, the town's name, and the year of issue.
Okay.
And I have seen exactly this, not in Southampton, but at a breeding a place that breeds dogs, where they're probably, dogs who live there full time, and they wear these leather collars with these metal tags attached to the collar, not hanging, with all that information on it.
Mhm.
So it's different than the ID tag that private dog, pet owners have to use. I think this is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, no objection on my part.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Then we're looking at D. And this was what we described as the enclosure.
Name and end.
Okay. 3 feet by 4 feet and height of 4 feet and a runway of at least 3 by 10 for each dog with a height of 4 feet. Is that acceptable?
I don't know dogs well enough, but that seems like a minimal amount of space.
I mean, it looks like it ties into the MGL there, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yes, it does.
So, all right, then if they're adding D in red, then that screws off our numbering, so that becomes E.
Right.
The
Okay.
name and address of the owner.
Of each dog kept in a kennel, if
Well-
other than the person maintaining the kennel, shall be kept at the kennel and available for inspection by an animal control officer, natural resource officer, deputy national research officer, fish and game warden, or police officer.
That's fine.
So here in town, we've got wintergreen kennels,
Right.
down at the Westfield border.
Mhm.
So what this is saying is Judith has got to keep a record of the name and address of every dog she has in the kennel.
Right.
It's not hers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in case somebody comes by to inspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they do anyway. She takes all that when you go take your dog in.
Yeah.
Why would the fish and game warden come by?
Because they're the ones who have jurisdiction over all of the,
Okay.
it all falls under them.
Yeah.
The interesting thing here is they're not saying anything about the dog being licensed. Therefore, it doesn't look like they maintain any information about their vaccination records.
No, it doesn't, but they do.
Oh, I know that particular place does, but I'm talking.
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Okay. Name and address and the
So that's
vaccination and the vaccination record. I would add that.
Yeah, probably.
So we're looking at D/E vaccination record. It has to be maintained and kept up to date. Otherwise, you end up spreading, some disease to other dogs that happen to be boarded there.
Right. I mean, there's that Bordetella or whatever you have to get vaccinated for in addition to rabies.
Yep.
So that should be number E though.
Yes, that should be E. And I think I would say name, address of each owner and the vaccination of each dog kept in a kennel.
Vaccination record or something.
Yeah. If everybody's okay with that.
Proof of vaccination.
Yeah.
Or proof of vaccination. Yep.
Right. Okay. Then what becomes?
That becomes D.
Then
That
F.
becomes E, and then E becomes F. I'm not sure where she's going with this.
Shall allow the dog to go unrestrained outside its enclosure. Well, that's one we had.
Yeah.
And then.
And it's cited there as part of the regulations.
Right. I should look that up. Hang on.
Yeah.
And then she's trying to do so that becomes violation of bylaw determined. So this would be as determined by the, not undetermined, but as determined, right?
Right.
So this is MGL 140, 136.
So where is the as determined?
Section 3 of this bylaw.
I see section F. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's paragraph F.
Yeah.
At the end of the second line.
I think it'll actually be G now though, right?
Yes, that's right. It will be G.
Yeah. Like section 3 of this bylaw as determined.
Right.
Okay,
Oh.
F. As determined. Okay. Got
Okay,
that.
so 136A.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are some definitions, I guess. So what are we trying to define here? Dog is part of the conditional kennel.
Are you, Chris?
I'm looking up 136A, the reference here that's in the current E. So no dog shall allow the dog to go unrestrained. So 136A is a set of definitions applicable to sections 137. Oh boy. So this is everything from adoption, attack, commercial training kennel, breeder kennel, dangerous dog. Is it what's appropriate here? Kennel, maybe kennel. License period is 30. Nuisance dog, personal kennel. This is talking about to go outside unrestrained at any time. I don't.
If they're a part of the kennel, a commercial.
Okay, so a commercial kennel. So maybe that's what I'm looking for. Is a that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So definition of a commercial kennel. Okay.
They
So
shouldn't
commercial
be-
boarding or training kennel. Yeah. Is an establishment used for boarding, holding, daycare, overnight stays, or training of animals that are not the property of the owner of the establishment. Blah, blah, blah. Shall not include an animal shelter or animal control facility or pet shop. Or a grooming facility operated solely for the purpose of grooming and not for overnight boarding. So basically it's just defining 136A just gives the definition of a commercial kennel. So that's all that does. There was one other reference up above there though, in that same section, I think. There was another MGL in that general area.
140 up here.
140, 137A. Okay.
Mhm.
Hang on. Yeah. 137A is just a kennel licenses, talking about kennel licenses. So no, okay, yeah. So it's just defining kennel licenses. So she's just referring to the MGL for the kennel license. Yeah.
Okay,
So nothing
all right.
too weird there. Yep. So we just need to renumber our stuff and then say, so then section 3 of this bylaw, as determined by the Southampton Police Department and or the town's designated animal control officer, subject to fines as follows. So she's leaving that one blank.
Maybe that should be subject to fines as indicated on the general fines and fees page.
Hmm.
But they were very specific in the fines up here.
Right.
That's true.
So this is related to section 3. So this is a fine for the dog kennels.
Yeah,
So this is specific to dog kennels.
fines as follows. First offense, 5 or 6, and subsequent sessions. Fill in the blank.
Well, let me see. Let me just check that. If there's a, I would have thought she would have put a fee in if there was one listed in here.
Yeah,
Yes, there is. Person who violates this section, this is 137A. Person who violates shall be assessed a fine of $500 for the first offense and a fine of not more than $1,000 for the second or subsequent offenses. So that's where they don't like the up to part that we've used before. So we could put in 750 or something.
yeah. Well,
You know,
but
we-
you're saying not, but by saying not more than, we can get,
Ceiling on it instead of a floor.
We can try the not more rather than the up to. That's probably more palatable.
Yeah.
So not more than 1,000.
so not more than 1,000 for second and subsequent offenses.
The difference is not more is definite.
Mhm.
Up to is so indefinite.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, so that would be G.
We could do up to and not more than.
Yeah,
1,000.
leave out the up to. They've killed us on that many times. So let's put a not to exceed or something, or not more than.
Not more than $1,000 for second and subsequent.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. All right, now we go. This is going to be the squirrely one. It is. All right. Looking at dog complaints, it has to be submitted to the select board within 10 days of the occurrence with all the information that's described in there. That's unchanged. Then they talk about the hearing procedures, and they made some references to Mass General Law that, and they cut out. So hearings will be conducted within 30 days of receipt of the complaint.
Yeah. They just reworded what we did there.
That's fine. Yep. Okay. So that's all
So-
fine.
So what they cut out was all individuals must be present. Interestingly enough. You'll see. 157 this time. Hold on. We're getting good at this now.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's not a bad idea to have that in there, that all, scratching that, because when people don't show up, it just gets tabled, moved. And if people never show up,
Yeah.
it ends up going on for much longer than it should.
Mhm.
So take action, even if the person isn't present. So I
Yeah.
sort of like that.
I think that's okay. We'll go with their
Yeah,
wisdom.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a point. If people can just the offending dog owner could decide not to show up and then you'd never
Yeah.
get anywhere.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah. On the other
Okay.
hand, if you're a dog owner and you can't show up because you have to go to the hospital or something,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem quite fair.
But they did add in here, look at what they put in there, absent extenuating circumstances.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So I think that would allow you as a dog owner to say, hey, look, I
Yeah.
can't make it, I want to come, I can't do it because, whatever.
Good point.
So,
But
Okay.
not people to just let it go on and there
Right.
may be people who would do that. Yeah.
yeah,
this-
so I don't think this is too bad in terms of what they put in here.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
And now,
Complicated.
If
so with
your
our
dog-
couple of,
if
yeah,
your dog is causing problems, you shouldn't be finding ways not to deal with that,
right.
not showing up.
right, exactly.
Looking for excuses. Deal
Yeah.
with your dog.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay.
That's true. So this didn't look to be that onerous. What do we have? How many pages is this? Like a 4-pager?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
So
that's the
this is
last,
the title. Yeah. So we had a separate one on humane treatment of animals, right?
right. Yes.
Which they obviously did not look at, and I'm wondering, or they didn't comment on.
No.
And I'm wondering if they overlooked it because of putting in all that stuff under, keep going up. Scroll
Yeah.
up
On yes.
all those funny things I was looking at
On
on
all of
H.
this. Yeah.
On H.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you possibly?
That doesn't
Go
deal with
ahead.
humane treatment of animals if you don't want to get a dog license.
Right.
Did we actually send the humane treatment of animals to them?
That I don't know. But
It was, I thought it was part of the same, it was
No,
kind of all in one document,
No.
but
they were two separate articles.
I know, but I think on the page, I don't think it was its own thing. I think it was,
Right.
page 1 of this.
Right.
Can you possibly find that, Francine, or no?
Okay. Let me
Just curious,
see.
because I'm wondering if H is just, the thing that's in here on H is that people are penalized and not able to get a license. So that's clear, but
Well, but the only penalty they pay is not being able to get a license. If they don't want a dog license, then it's not much of a
Yeah.
penalty.
right.
but the humane treatment of animals was more than dogs.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's
It
what
was, and
I'm
that's,
wondering if we ever sent it on.
Now, can you see this?
no,
No.
we're still got the dog ones up. You gotta
Right.
unshare this one.
Okay.
Unshare this one first.
All right. One sec.
It may not have been clear to Ed in terms of what he was sending them, or else they just didn't catch it.
You see
'Cause
it
this went
now?
over like 6 months ago. So
Yeah. You see it now?
no.
All right. Let me. You see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I bet this hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah. No, this deals with other things. We talk about care and feeding, shelter. I would take this back to Ed and ask them
Yep.
if they didn't, they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, Francine, we might change that one thing while I see that right at the very bottom. Shall be
Mhm.
liable to a penalty fee for each violation established by the select board.
No, yeah,
I
Yeah.
would do that, per MGL, per article, whatever that is, 42. Non-criminal disposition,
mhm.
Yeah.
rather than doing the select board.
So what the hell? Why isn't it
You
going?
take out established by.
Okay.
Yeah,
Per,
per
MGL.
town, yeah, or town bylaw,
Oh,
per,
or
yeah,
whatever. However, it's written in a couple of those others, town bylaw,
we're talking
XL
about, we're talking
XL
about,
11.
non-criminal.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
non-criminal disposition of violations
Of bylaws, blah, 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 blah.
well, it's of rules, regulations, and something.
Fees.
Bylaws,
Is
rules.
get the right title of the bylaw.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
For each violation per, but I think you have to say per town bylaw article.
I'm having trouble with my keyboard.
Yeah, town
So,
Push it harder.
town
bylaw.
bylaw article 42 X XL11. Yep,
Okay,
comma.
yeah, non-criminal disposition. I'll have to
Right.
get the name of that. Okay.
Right. And
So
then
we're
get rid of
looking
the
at domesticated section 5. Okay,
and just get rid of established by the select board there.
yeah. And see attached fee.
No, yeah, get rid of that too. Yep.
And I'll just put that there so I know where I have to go.
Right.
Okay,
So I think they might not have looked at this one.
yeah.
Okay.
Let me just do this while I'm here.
Yep. Save it. Mhm. Here.
All right,
Okay.
okay.
So with that, even though, they put in all those funny little chapters in that section in our other one, those are still very different than what this humane treatment was that we talked about. So there really isn't any redundancy there. So I think it's fine for them to have put those in there. And it's just a matter of whether we want to give a couple of code words in parentheses as to what those are all about.
I think we
Yeah, yeah, just so that,
do.
there's some information there besides citations,
Yeah, because nobody's gonna know what those citations refer to.
right?
So, okay.
Oh, my.
That's not bad. I really thought this one could be worse, frankly. I wasn't sure.
Well, we didn't get to the meeting yet, and we certainly, this,
Huh?
we did not get the response to this as I thought we would, and it may still be coming, because this is complicated and personal to some degree for people, pet owners, So
Mhm.
let's see what happens.
Yep. So back in the email message from the lawyer, so it just says, these bylaws are tough to review because they tend to be all over the map in terms of content. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's because we're trying to combine them instead of having 5 separate ones. But anyway,
Okay.
we had asked her to check out one thing too. So she says here to Ed, you had asked me the following question on the dogs kennels complaints bylaw. We're looking to see if there's a possible way to recover the costs if a Southampton resident has an animal, and in this case, it would probably have to be a dog, that was picked up, boarded, and treated for vaccinations and possibly medical treatment that the owner did not pick up from the Westfield Animal Shelter, the possibility to pay those costs, or whatever, her English is as bad as mine. Anyway, to pay those costs, the town could recoup those costs from the owner. So if I understand, I don't know what he said. Okay, if I understand your question correctly, if the owner does not pick up the animal from the shelter, I tend to doubt you'd be able to collect any costs from the owner as a practical matter. Perhaps we can have a discussion on this and I can attempt to draft language responsive to the concern. So what we're saying is we wanted to try and recoup costs from the owner if they didn't.
From the animal owner or from the kennel owner?
No, this would
Oh,
be from
from-
the dog owner if the animal's been picked up and taken to the shelter in Westfield.
Mm.
We
So
can't
right
put a-
now, right now they have to pay their rabies fee or whatever. I mean, they have to prove that, right, to get them
Yeah,
License,
released.
yeah,
No, to get them released, right? They have to pay something to get them released.
well, if they don't have a license or,
yeah.
Yeah,
They have to pay to get them licensed, and in order to get them licensed, they have to have proof of vaccination.
right.
But-
So we were wanting to know if we could recoup the costs somehow, because I guess so it is. I guess it's if it's animals that are not picked up, the town has to foot the bill.
I think that's how it works right now, yes.
So if there's medical treatment, it's a dog that's been hit by a car, there's medical treatment,
Right,
whatever, and the owner decides not to go and rescue their dog
mm-hmm,
and just let it be, then the town is on the hook for the money. So I think we were trying to figure out whether or not we could get that money back from the person, assuming they would come and get their animal. But she's saying if the owner does not pick up the animal from the shelter, I tend to doubt you'd be able to collect any costs from the owner
Mhm.
as a practical matter.
Yeah.
But we
that makes
can
sense.
discuss and I can help you draft something. So I don't know where we want to go with that.
yeah, I agree. There's such a thing as depending upon the cost of the treatment. You could put a lien on their property, but that's going far.
Yeah.
That would, I don't know what other recourse we would have.
Yeah, you have to know who it is you would put a lien on.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily clear that if a dog gets hit by a car and brought to the shelter, that anybody would know who owns the dog if it doesn't
Yeah.
already have a license.
Right,
If they didn't find out who the
Yeah.
owner was, there's no way to.
yeah.
Yeah,
If,
but
if, if they're not licensed, then they're not chipped, there's no way
Right.
of knowing.
Right.
Kind of a catch-22, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
yeah, it might be worth talking with her about this. What she would suggest.
Yeah. I don't know in how many instances. I know that we've paid, I think over the course of a year, maybe $5,000. I don't know how much of that Lucy has ever been able to recover. And I know she's been concerned about it.
Maybe that's a chat. I know tomorrow with the election, that's going to be crazy, but maybe we'll have time before the select board meeting just to grab Lucy for a minute or two and see what her records look like.
Yeah.
How many out of whatever we've had to pay the animal shelter, how many of those have been because somebody didn't pick up their animal and basically abandoned it, right?
Yeah.
Versus the cost of paying the lawyer to figure this out with us.
Well, that's going to be the other thing. Yeah. The cost of paying the lawyer is probably going to be more than paying the medical costs for the dog.
Right.
Yeah, right. But I think, maybe we could just grab a few minutes with Lucy after we get through the election and just see if she could tell us. She must get like a quarterly bill or something from the animal control center.
Yeah.
So just to see the backup information
Yeah.
to that, the
Yeah.
invoice, to see the last couple of invoices, what are they covering? And it may be a non-issue that we're trying to regulate, we're trying to squeeze every little penny we can, but this one may be ridiculously difficult to try and even think about doing.
But she has brought it to our attention.
I know she
And we
has,
have
and
to
so
do something, but
so
the
but
cost
then
of
she's
doing something,
then she's the one that needs to give us a little bit of supporting documentation so we can go argue it, or she needs to come to select board on
Yeah.
Thursday.
yeah, yeah,
To present
Okay.
it so that if she understands it a different way, she can tell us why she's concerned about it, because it's
Okay.
costing us, $2,000 a year to
Yeah.
pay on somebody's behalf. I mean, who knows
Right.
what the amount is, but
Okay,
so it just seems like we need a little more information from her to decide whether to pursue that, because this won't go back to the lawyers until after we meet with select board anyway.
Yeah.
right,
So
Right.
nothing will go back to them before Friday.
right.
So, okay. But I think we ought to bring this one to Ed. I think, no, that's okay. I think we ought to just, let Ed know, oops, it looks like they forgot to review this other part of the dog one.
Domesticated, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think I would send that to him saying, oops, looks like they forgot this one.
Yeah.
Could they expound upon it?
Yeah,
Opined upon
all
it?
right, by Thursday. Okay. So
Okay,
can we just talk for a minute? All that we about making these edits. I mean, the ones that we're changing, I'll go in and change. But the ones that the attorneys did, putting it in red, or the ones that you did, we're gonna let Ed and Judy
yeah,
clean those up.
yeah,
Okay.
I
All
would.
right. So the only ones I'll do are the ones that we went in and changed or added. Correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, based on the feedback. Okay.
right. So that would be like the marking of vehicles where we're putting in
Right.
the date certain.
Right.
for example.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I think for special town meeting, my thinking is, and that's where I think Ed is losing track of what we're trying to do. So we're hoping to have the housing, the soliciting, canvassing amendment,
Mm-hmm.
the marking of vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
which is a new bylaw.
Yes.
So that's 3.
We have curb cuts.
Curb cuts, which is an amendment.
Yeah.
Dogs, which is
Dogs.
amended.
Yes.
That's like 5.
Yep.
And then humane treatment could be 6. And then littering and dumping is 7. So I don't know that we're going to get all 7 on this warrant, but we ought to get at least 4 on the warrant.
Yes. Okay. So if we were to prioritize our 4, it would be, to me, housing, soliciting, the littering one, and
dogs.
dogs.
Yeah. And I don't.
And marking vehicles. Did I say that?
No, you didn't. So I think marking vehicles probably, and dogs in both of those, including the humane care if we can. I think the littering and dumping, I'd like to have it done, but since they've never seen it at all yet,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that they'll have time to do it and turn it around, but it's not
Right.
that complicated, but maybe.
Okay. So we're doing housing, soliciting, marking vehicles, dogs, and hopefully we'll get care of domesticated animals in there as well.
Humane treatment, yeah.
Humane treatment. Yeah.
And then if we can do, littering and dumping, we can do that maybe for the next round.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
if we don't push them too much, we might get more out of them.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, because this is a lot.
Yeah. And I don't think curb cuts and anything is that crucial right now. So,
No.
I mean, I think we could hold off a couple of these until.
So it'll be those 5.
I think so.
Okay. If they get to the humane care.
Right.
All right. Okay.
4 at a minimum.
Yes, 4 at a minimum. All right. So I'll get off the humane thing to him now, which I can do. And then the others I will work on tonight and tomorrow to get to him to get these corrections.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's already got. All you got to do on the vehicle one is put in the date. That's all that one is.
Right.
And then we just have to go with what we accepted on the dogs, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's already got the littering and dumping, and he's already got
He's got the
solicitation.
soliciting, yeah. Housing is fine. There's nothing more to do to that. So it's basically the dates on the marking vehicles and the dogs.
Yep. That's what remains to be done. Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Makes sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. So with that, I mean, I think we've covered a lot. I think we're gonna, we'll certainly make our deadline for Thursday's meeting.
Mhm.
Now, is there anything else that we need to bring up? I know we tabled the minutes from our last meeting, so we'll do double duty next time on November 2nd, and today's meeting minutes I'll produce for our next meeting. So if there is nothing else, can we pick a date that we want to reconvene after the meeting, after the special, or not after the special town meeting, after the select board meeting?
When is that select board meeting?
This Thursday, the 10th,
At what time?
at 6.
6, okay.
And then the special town meeting is December 13th. So I would think we would have to meet after the 10th to see what were the comments and what other recommendations that the select board has to make on these drafts, and do that. And they all have to be to Ed by the 22nd. Is that right? That's the day.
We have to vote on them on the 22nd to get them on the warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we then need to meet sometime shortly after the, do you want to meet on Wednesday, the 16th? Or is that enough time?
What would our,
I mean, just to go over any of the comments that they made and make any changes based on their comments, correct?
they who?
The select board, us.
It's, once we're done with our meeting on Thursday,
Yeah,
these need to go to the lawyers on Friday, or they won't be done. Right?
right.
I mean,
Okay, all right.
so I
So there's,
I don't think so. I mean,
all right, then we,
I mean, I'm assuming that whatever comments we have from select board, those comments can go with the bylaws to the lawyers. They don't
okay.
have to come back to us again to
Okay.
discuss.
All right, that's fine then. So let's
But-
leave it at that.
But we may, there may be something that comes up around them, but we're running right into Thanksgiving. So at most, I'd say like the Tuesday after Thanksgiving or something, like the 29th or something. Or sometime in there,
How about the 30th?
or whatever, the 30th, before the special town meeting.
Okay. All right, so we want to put it in for November 30th? 10:30?
That works for me, but I don't know. I don't see a need for us.
Okay. I was just assuming that we had the responsibility for integrating any other comments, but you may be right, Chris.
Yeah,
That'll have to go along back to the lawyers so that we have them in that reflect everyone's input that we agree on, and have it back in time for the special town meeting. And they have to be out 2 weeks before that meeting. So I think that date was like the 28th or something. I don't know.
okay. Well, I guess we'll have to sort of see how the meeting goes on Thursday to know.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
might be right. As a precaution, you might want to throw one on, and we can always cancel it. Like on the 16th or something, and cancel it if we don't need it,
Okay.
just so you have one posted.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't want to make meetings just for the sake of making meetings, but I just.
No, but
I
it
wanna
would
have-
only be if we had something to do related to this to get them on the
Right.
warrant, which I don't know. It's hard to know, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever,
So-
whatever you feel like.
All
I don't know.
right, so I'll post two meetings, the 16th and the 30th. The 16th is subject to cancellation based on how the meeting goes on Thursday. And then, and that, yeah, that'll be, that should take care of it for the next,
Yeah.
for the next round. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so I will do that. Anything
Okay.
else? Okay, I appreciate, us going through this dog one at the very last minute. This is literally the very last minute,
Mm-hmm.
since this was like submitted last March or something like that. So we got our feedback. All right. So
Good.
anything else? So we have our meeting scheduled for the 16th and the 30th. If there's nothing else, so how about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so adjourning at 7:39. And I thank you for being patient with my my ability to share documents. But we got through them. Thank you very much. All
Yeah.
right.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Good.
Good night,
All right.
everybody.
So long.
Bye.
Good night.
come on. Where are you?